Greetings to all my viewers. And today we are going to talk about the vital energy technologies. They are truly the new frontiers for the healers and coaches who follow the paradigm of quantum integrative medicine. First, a little bit about myself. So, I'm Anil Sinha, and I'm basically an engineer and a management consultant. And consciousness engineering, consciousness research, and quantum integrative medicine have become a major part of my pursuit in life. And primarily, that has been driven by my own effort for finding a greater meaning in my life and achieving completeness. As a part of my research, I also act as a health coach, and one of the major areas in this entire world of quantum medicine, quantum integrative medicine that has attracted me has been this evolving field of quantum technologies or the vital energy technologies. Because truly, when one is practicing the tools of quantum integrative medicine, they need different tools than the ones which are available to conventional medicine people. So what are they? That has been a field which has interested me for a long time. And today I'm going to share some of my findings and understanding in this area. So quantum integrative medicine, as we know, is a completely new paradigm which talks about holistic healing. It sees a human being not just as a physical body, but a complex system of multiple levels of existence, one of which is the most obvious one, is the materialistic, the physical body, but then there are subtle energy parts to the human system, and that is where the focus of a quantum integrative medicine practitioner goes. So it could be somebody who is dealing with physical problems, medical problems, or a life coaching issue, or various other kind of things which engage with a human existence and human pursuits in different domains. So anywhere where there is a problem which needs a solution and an external intervention becomes an area of interest for a quantum integrative medicine person. So such a practitioner needs new tools. And what are these for? As you can see here, they are for measuring the vital energy parameters. They are for creating and applying holistic solutions to address which are the imbalances which exist at various levels. And most importantly, there's a need at times for an effective interface with the client in a proximity or at a distance situation. So when we are thinking in this manner, we have to explore the world of prana. It's a Sanskrit word, and in English we can closely call it as the vital energy. So when we are talking of prana or the vital energy, the science that we look towards is the quantum science. So what are these quantum science secrets? Let's look at them. As you can see in this diagram, there is this phenomena called psychophysical parallelism, which is like a parallelism between the mind, which is the psycho part, and the physical part, which is the materialistic part. So the quantum science tells us that consciousness is the ground of all being, and the physical human existence is nothing but a manifestation of the consciousness based on certain conditions being met. So as you can see here, there's a discontinuous local collapse which happens, and you have consciousness containing 4 compartments of possibilities. So basically, quantum science is a physics of possibilities, a science of possibilities. And there's this phenomena called quantum collapse, where the possibilities manifest as the material body, the vital body, the mind, and the supramental intellect. So these are the four different types of collapses which happen from the domain of infinite potentialities to what are known as conditioned potentialities. So the most uh, materialistic one is the physical existence, but then there are the other three or four compartments as well. Now, when we look at this from the literature of ancient yoga philosophy, we talk about the five bodies, or in Sanskrit, it is known as koshas. Koshas mean sheaths of consciousness. So, as you can see here, the innermost, or the one that we perceive most easily, is the physical body, and in Sanskrit is known as the Annamaya Kosh. Then the next layer is the vital or the Pranamaya Kosh. After that, we have the mental or the Manomaya Kosh, supramental intellect or the Vijnanamaya Kosh. And then finally, we have the Anandamaya Kosh or the bliss body. So the human system is thought to comprise of these five different sheaths or five different bodies. So in the quantum integrative medicine, when we are looking at changing anything at the physical level, the route for that is not directly intervening at the physical level, but intervening at the vital energy level. Because the consciousness mediates between domains of potentiality and actuality. The vital energy functions operate in the domain of potentiality, while the changes in the physical have a causal connection to the changes in the vital. So if we want to create a change at a physical level, what we do is we try to look at the imbalances at the vital energy or at the prana level, and we try to create a change there, because we know that there is a science which explains how the changes at the vital can create the corresponding change at the physical level. So the consciousness interactive technologies or the vital energy technologies, they support monitoring and directing the creative and the intuitive interventions. We all have heard this word aura. So when we talk of the pranamaya kosh or the vital energy body, it is also perceived as the aura, which is like a layer surrounding the physical body. So as we have the physical anatomy, there is also something known as the spiritual anatomy. This is a term which has been used by this author, Barbara Martin, in her famous book, Change Your Aura, Change Your Life. So as she says, aura is a vibratory essence which is surrounding all living beings, that is commonly invisible to the eye, but can be intuited with feeling. It is a blueprint of our spiritual qualities that can potentially manifest at a given time. It's dynamic in nature and can change with our thoughts and emotions. So just consider this, that this is where lies the hope for transformation in the quality of our life. So if we are facing a difficult situation at a physical level, we are not condemned to live it forever, because the aura can be changed. And once the aura changes, the physical level changes will happen. Aura has a basic shape, and there are several divisions or zones. Intuitives have perceived three different types of aura shapes. There's a square shape which denotes a constricted aura that results from a highly negative mindset. There's a round shape which signifies a soul in the process of transformation and spiritual growth. This is the case with most people who are exploring the spiritual dimensions of their life. Then we have the pointed oval shape aura, which is that of a master who is ready or close to their full bloom to their spiritual growth potential. Then within this aura, there are also chakras, which are the energy centers that communicate with the internal and external environment and strive to maintain a balance of energy. As you can see here, aura has various divisions. So we have the health division, we have mental division, emotional division, spiritual division, color division, magnetic division, and so on. So This is how the intuitives can perceive different divisions in the aura, and it can be interpreted to tell different stories about the human life. But mind you, this is what only very accomplished intuitives are able to see. Technology is yet not there to see it in this level of detail, but the technology can definitely help. These are the energy centers, what we call as the chakras, and people impute these spiral rays and fanning rays and different kinds of shapes and colors which tell about the energy level, strength, and purity of the aura and the chakra. The chakras are also have been found to uh, be correlated to different organs of the body and different feeling levels. So when we are talking of the vital energy or the prana and the aura and chakra, the major way in which we can perceive that without any machines is the feelings. Feelings and emotions are the best way to experience and perceive the energy at a pranic level. We come to the vital energy technologies, which is the main subject for us today. And as we can see that what the vital energy technologies do is they can help us focus or enhance the power of creative intention. Mind you, when we are dealing with any level of pranic or the vital energy operations, it is always the creative intention of the person who is receiving the healing and person who is offering the healing. It is a correlation between their individual vital energy fields which creates the magic. And any vital energy technologies or tools can only help amplify that. The tools, the vital energy technologies also help us in monitoring the physiological or environmental impact of the vital energy movement. So these are the different types of technologies which are usually in vogue to work with the movement of vital energy. We have the biofield related technologies which can help us perceive the aura and chakras. We have technologies to work with the heart rate variability, a very, very important component in measuring and intervening in the areas of physical, mental, emotional health. There are brainwave measurements. Brainwave entrainment is again another interesting phenomena which is used for creating a balance. Neuroadaptive regulation has been found to be very useful in dealing with certain kinds of physical issues, especially related to the pain, the bones, muscles, and at a much deeper level. The scalar energy waves and radionics are again another very important area which can allow the healer to work at a distance, because that is one of the major requirements of a quantum integrative medicine practitioner. Let's look at the biofield one, which is the subtle light or the electromagnetic field around the material object as a representation of the vital energy. There are various kinds of technologies. One is the technology related to based on digital filters, gradations, and this is known as biofield imaging. There's a famous Kirlian photography based technology which is known as the gas discharge visualization or GDV. Biophoton emission based is another type of technology. They give information on a person's general energy levels and any imbalances and blocks. It can also measure changes to the environmental energy fields. This is the biofield imaging technology. As you can see, there are digital image filters which can process a regular picture taken under certain light conditions, and they can make the normally invisible light visible as in the form of color bands. They can ascribe different colors to various subtle intensities of light. And to develop these technologies, primarily the developers have used the colors that can be perceived by the aura sensitives and try to recreate that using a software. And that is how these pictures are prepared. They're useful for human as well as environmental assessment. The other type of technology is GDV, or the gas discharge visualization. Now, this is basically based on a phenomena that from each cell of the body, there is a very weak light field, biophotons. They are being emitted all the time. Now, in a normal course, we are not able to perceive that using our physical senses. Uh, Even with the electronic sensors, they are difficult. So what is done is that a particular technology or a contraption is used to momentarily amplify the biophoton which is being emitted by applying a high voltage, low current electricity to the skin. And this creates a shock reaction, and the biofield, the biophoton emission gets amplified, and there is a sensitive photosensor which captures it. And the rest is then created using a software, as you can see these pictures. So this is the aura which is before the healing of a person. And then after the healing, as you can see, the gaps have been filled and the aura has become better. So this is how the GDV technology is used. There is a new developing technology which is very interesting, and it is known as the biophoton emission analysis. So a couple of years back, an experiment was done with a psychic in Italy, and there was an experiment of sending healing, which was done, and the energy was captured. So as we can see now, this is the normal picture, and then at an intermediate stage, you can see this is how the energy is flowing. So there is this green energy traveling from right to left, and but then there are other dark areas nearby. And as the healing proceeds, we can see that this green area expands and increases. And towards the end, we have this moment of the highest energy exchange. And this is where you see it is a much stronger transmission of energy. This is one example of what the biophoton emission analysis can achieve. So here the biophoton emission has been captured and measured using a device called MIRA, which is based on hyperspectral imaging. It has been patented by this gentleman known as Daniel Gula, and it captures tiny variations of intensity and luminescence of ambient light in a controlled environment. At a physical level, this is the closest way of capturing in real time the impact of movement of vital energy or prana. Next, we come to the heart rate variability. They help us determine the functional performance of the autonomic nervous system. Coherence between brain and heart can be assessed using this. So these are some interesting research insights in the heart rate variability. So heart has been seen to generate rhythmic magnetic fields which are 5,000 times stronger than the brain's magnetic field. This rhythmic field acts as a carrier wave that carries information about the feelings and the emotions. The pattern of this rhythmic field is a direct indicator of the vital body activities. This field influences the processes throughout the body. Breath has been seen to be the most powerful tool to make changes in the HRV patterns. HRV is heart rate variability. And HRV is the most scientifically validated marker to know the impact of any energy healing modality. Those who are familiar with the traditional ancient Indian Ayurvedic systems would know that an integral part of an Ayurvedic medicine practitioner was something known as Nadi Pariksha. So nadis are the meridians, and using a pulse analysis or the pulse evaluation, an experienced Ayurveda practitioner could know so much about the patient. It was a primary tool for diagnostic, the Nadi Pariksha. So it is nothing but again another type of HRV analysis, which was done with the help of the hand only. And now there are technologies which can aid in that. So there is this machine called Alpha HRV Analyzer, something that I have used regularly, which is a wellness monitoring based on heart rate variability. So here, as we can see, that the frequencies from HRV are shown as ECG and RR intervals, that is beat to beat time interval variations. HRV has a direct connection to the nervous system by the sinus node. Measuring the pulse provides an image of the body's various divisions over the spectrum, as well as the synchronization of divisions with each other. ECG recording with the real-time monitoring of functional state indices, assessment of the state of cardiovascular and vegetative nervous system by means of variance analysis, assessment of body's neurohumoral regulation and energy resources by means of neurodynamic analysis, assessment of current psycho-emotional state using the method of brain biorhythm mapping, assessment of organism adaptation level and level of harmonization of biological rhythms using the method of fractal analysis, determination of the patient's biological age. These are some of the things that we are able to accomplish using this device. So as we can see here, a case in which, like when we see this diagram, this is like before and after a healing, how the situation changes for a person. So these bands which we see here, they denote the sympathetic, parasympathetic, and the central nervous system functions. So here, as we can see, there's a large part of blue which is showing the central nervous function. Central nervous system is very active, while the parasympathetic is very suppressed. So this actually shows a diseased condition. So after healing, we can see after a few days, we can see here the situation has dramatically changed. The central nervous system has quietened down, the parasympathetic has improved, and the sympathetic also has become better. So this gives us a very useful monitoring mechanism. It also gives us this overall improvement in the various health parameters. So in this case, since this was only about a 3-day period, it went from 0% initially to 6%, the overall health complex. There's also another parameter, as we discussed, the biological age versus the actual age. So as we can see, the biological age from 74, it went down to 72. So 2 years. It's like the body is showing how old. So although the person is only 62 years old, he was initially showing a biological age of 74, which went down gradually to 72. It also gives us information about the strength of various chakras. So as we can see, there's a slight improvement here. It gives us a condition of the major meridians. So this is something which is useful if one is using a modality like acupressure or acupuncture. You know which particular meridians to focus on. So heart rate variability also gives us a measure of coherence versus relaxation. So relaxation shows a reduction in the overall HRV, moving towards a greater parasympathetic response and low energy state in body and mind. While coherence actually is an entrainment to a natural resonant frequency, increased harmony and synchronization in the nervous system and the heart-brain dynamics, and it provides a person with a state of calm awareness which is suited for higher level of performance. There is this device from HeartMath company called EM-Wave Pro, and it is used for helping a person train themselves for better breathing, because with breath training you can improve your heart rhythm coherence. So it achieves this by showing you in a real time as to how your coherence pattern is changing as you change your breathing pattern. There are also interesting games included in this, and you can, like playing video games, you can actually improve your breathing pattern and your HRV performance. It collects the pulse data and translates the information from your heart rate into graphics on your computer. So this is primarily a tool for training a person to improve the heart rhythm coherence. Some research insights into this based on published studies is it can lead to decreased heart rate variability, be a marker of autonomic dysfunction, metabolic syndrome, and diabetes. This was published in Journal of Diabetology. Is there an optimal autonomic state for enhanced flow and executive task performance? In Frontiers in Psychology, there are various studies on the HeartMath website. You can find a huge number of studies which have been done. So this is another very interesting diagram. As you see, the brain wave, the heart rate variability measurement at the coherence level. As you can see, a simple relaxation, it helps the power spectral density of the heart rate variability to move in this manner. So it becomes a little quietened, but still there are these zigzag things. But when you indulge in an activity like appreciation or gratitude, you can see, like, suddenly everything coalesces together and becomes more coherent. So this is, for example, it shows us the power of gratitude, the power of appreciation in improving our coherence level. The brainwave measurements. So as we all know that EEG, or the electroencephalogram, is a common way of measuring the brainwave patterns. It shows us the cortical engagement of the brain. Let's look at some of the ways in which it is done. So measuring the brain dynamics, there are various kinds of technologies, as you can see here. And the common ones which are used is primarily EEG and fMRI. So let's look at the difference between these two. So brain regulates the cortical excitability, which is a measure of brain function by changing the oscillation properties in different brain areas. Example, hearing a tone will increase the oscillations in the auditory area and decrease it in the visual area. These are the popular theories for this. One is called communication through coherence, CTC, where the brain attempts to optimize information transfer by synchronizing oscillatory function at source and destination sites. Gating by inhibition, here the neurons which are not required for the task and functionality are inhibited by changing oscillations in particular bands. Function through biased oscillations, index of cortical excitability derived from instant voltage of biased oscillations is correlated to brain function or behavior. So as I was telling you, EEG and fMRI, now what are the major differences? So EEG, it measures the brain's electrical activity directly through electrodes on the scalp. It records the summed up activities of several neurons. It has a quicker temporal resolution, less than 1 millisecond, but poor spatial resolution, which means basically it can measure faster response of the brain, but the space-wise distribution of a particular signal will not be so well known in the EEG. It is better suited to track neural dynamics, and oscillations are recorded, but not the information that these oscillations carry. While fMRI, it measures the blood flow to indirectly infer the neuronal activity. It helps correlate the brain function to the structure, that which part of the brain is active when you are doing certain type of activities. Its resolution limitations, spatial is less than 1 millimeter cube, while temporal is 1 to 2 seconds. As we can see in EEG, it was 1 millisecond, here it is 1 to 2 seconds. So temporal is much slower, but the spatial is much better. There are efforts to improve the sensitivity to neuronal changes. So one example you can see here of the EEG recording. So as you can see that, at the different states of awareness like awake, light sleep, REM sleep, and deep sleep, how the brainwave pattern of the EEG varies. So for this, we use something called brain-computer interface, which is like a headwear device with electrode sensors that is coupled with a software to record EEG data and use various algorithms to interpret the brain activities. Frontal cortex, it conducts less than 10% of the brain activities. There are multiple brain regions involved in environmental modeling, processing the sensory inputs, memory processing and storage, responding to emotions, etc. Deeper brain functions interact intimately with different parts of the cortex, outer layer accessible to EEG measurement. Accurate measurement of the brain activity requires mapping different brain regions with proper electrode configuration. This is one of the devices which is very easy to use. It uses dry sensor. It is known as the NeuroSky MindWave and Mind Workstation. It uses some dry EEG sensors and a sophisticated software which helps us measure and monitor the brainwave states in real time. It is also capable of brainwave entrainment using the biofeedback optimization. There's another device known as Emotiv. It has two variants. One is with 5-channel measurement and the other gives you the 14-channel measurement. So the 14-channel measurement obviously measures more areas of the brain. So it is for whole brain sensing. It measures activities from all the cortical lobes of the brain, providing in-depth information that is usually found only in the research devices. So this is one of the inexpensive devices which many healers can use usefully, healers and coaches in the area of quantum integrative medicine. It is based on polymer sensors and brain-computer interface. It can help us measure stress, engagement, interest, relaxation, focus, and excitement, different frequency bands, facial expressions, and motion data. So here there is a calibration study of the Emotiv brain-computer interface. So with the clinical EEG systems and the Emotiv system, and we can see that there is a very close degree of correlation between at the various channels, between all the channels. So that shows how useful this inexpensive device is. The brainwave entrainment, as we know that the brain has a phenomena that the brain waves, they denote different states of awareness. So when you achieve that state of awareness using meditation or any healing or any integrative process, the brain waves change. But there's a reverse process possible, which is known as brainwave entrainment. And here you can use artificially certain stimuli to change the brainwave patterns, and correspondingly, the state of awareness will change. So this is one very, very useful tool for practitioners of quantum integrative medicine. So there are synchronous sound frequencies, subliminal tones, harmonized light pulsations, color lights. So many different ways are there. One of the very useful devices for this is something known as BrainTap, which allows your brain to rest, and it needs to reach the different states of consciousness. So they call it like relax, reboot, and strengthen. So basically, by giving some certain stimulus in organized patterns through sound and light, as you can see, there's a visor here. So there's a blinking pattern of LEDs on this, which oscillates to a particular frequency input being given. And similarly, there is a sound which is plays in the headphone. So this combined stimuli through light and sound can help the brainwave to entrain to a particular frequency. There are other kinds of arrangements using a color lighting arrangement in a room or something, which can be used in the same way. Neuroadaptive regulation. This is some very, very interesting technology which is used, as I said in the beginning, in helping with pain management, muscles, bones, repairs, regeneration of damaged tissues, and so on. Personally, I've had very good experience with this. It is based on adaptive neural signaling, based on biofeedback. Then there are other types of technologies which are using low-level lasers for cellular adaptability increase, and sensory deprivation for enhanced inner awareness. The neuroadaptive regulation, the best device for this is Skenar Cosmodic EX735AG. This is the model that I have used with very good results. So Skenar is basically an acronym which talks about self-controlled energy neural adaptive regulator device. Cosmodic is another device, but now currently this particular device, it combines the two as modes. In fact, there's a third mode called ENS, which has been added a couple of years back. It establishes a two-way communication with the brain to help it correct the erratic holding pattern and trigger another system in the body to send the rebalancing chemicals and hormones. It works by way of restoration of the lost bodily functions and tissue regeneration. One of the very interesting things about this device is that, when it acts on a human body, it can even help regenerate damaged tissues, which is a very, very rare capability amongst any corresponding other equivalent technology. There are these low-level lasers which can work in conjunction with the scanner cosmetic kind of devices, and they improve the cellular adaptability. There is a zero gravity floating tanks which have been used very successfully in helping a deep level of relaxation response and helping with any back and spine related issues. And it is like, there's a water which has a high degree of Epsom salt mixed into it. So it creates a Dead Sea kind of an environment, and people can float on water and they can even relax with music and all that. So this is like a zero gravity balancing through sensory deprivation. Scalar energy and radionics is another very, very interesting area which helps primarily in remote healing. So when you are working at a distance, this is a very useful technology. There are various kinds of machines. I have worked with one, so I will tell you about that. So this is, primarily the inspiration has been the work of Nikola Tesla, who talked about scalar waves, which are like standing waves, which have some very peculiar characteristics that they can transmit information without loss of signal at great distances. So scalar waves are also referred to as Tesla waves or the longitudinal waves. Tesla called them the non-Hertzian without frequency waves. It was taken from the mathematical work of James Clerk Maxwell. Dr. Constantine Mail reproduced and discovered the magnetic scalar waves which may affect the biological system. Its frequency is counted in volts per second versus cycles per second, which is the common way of measuring the frequency of a wave. People claim that it is capable of penetrating any solid object, including Faraday cages. It can pass through the earth with no loss of field strength and can travel faster than light. It does not decay with time or distance. It creates a stationary wave by two similar frequency waves cancelling each other when they meet from the opposite direction. And it can be used for information, energy transfer, and many other applications. This is still largely undiscovered and unknown kind of a phenomena, but now several very successful technologies have been developed to use this. The scalar waves can be seen to occur naturally through the actions of the human brain and heart. It can also occur in special geometric shapes like pyramids or crystals. Radionics is one of the applications with huge potential. Radionics devices create scalar fields through special electromagnetic coils. Radionics is a bioresonance technique. It was discovered by Dr. Albert Abrams in the early 1900s. It is said to work through scalar waves that are seen to exchange information between the domains of vital and physical. So here the interesting thing is that if we want to pass on an information to a vital field for correcting any imbalances, and then that's stoking a change at the physical level, as we have seen earlier that a change at a vital level can trigger a change response at a physical level. So here that information for balancing can be passed using a scalar wave as a carrier, and that is what the radionics machines achieve. It is used to diagnose the imbalances of the information fields of humans or any other object and to balance them remotely. Healing, agriculture, environmental corrections are some of the applications. This is the machine known as SE5 1000. the one that I have used in many experiments, and it is used for remote healing, weather or environmental balancing, holistic agriculture, capturing the energetic signature of rare medicine and herbs, transmitting medicines remotely as frequency. It's a product of subtle energy research based on the concepts of radionics and biofield theory. SE5 works through the IDF, known as the intrinsic data field, that contain the biofield information. And the SE5 is designed to detect and balance these biofields with precision and accuracy. So the SE5 machine can be used for all these different kinds of areas which are listed here. I can talk a little bit about some of the vital energy applications for healing, which are like case studies from my own work. So I have worked with several people with the scanner, cosmetic kind of technology, and some of the other things in spinal surgery, rehabilitation, chronic backache, extreme skin sensitivity to sun, breast cancer, phobias, hypertension, diabetes. These are some of the areas in which I have experimented with some of these technologies as part of my research. I have used an integrated approach which involves counseling, subconscious reprogramming, and vital energy interventions to enhance the effect of self healing. So, the integrative wellness, the paradigm which I have found to be successful by integrating the vital energy technologies, it involves these areas. There is non invasive screening, which is physiological, psychological, and energetic processes. Heart rate variability, which we talked about, measure and monitor the inner balance of the autonomic nervous system. Biofeedback training, enhancing the brainwave coherence to target stress reduction and performance improvement. Assisted detoxification, which is like ionic food bath and radiant heat based far infrared sauna. Guided relaxation in that zero gravity flotation, brainwave resonance, reflexology. Radionics for the remote measurement and management of subtle energy fields of humans, animals, plants, substances, and spaces. In certain cases, psychotherapy techniques like past life regression, rebirthing, emotional freedom technique, and all are also useful. Mindfulness therapy, which is monitored brainwave regulation and management. Neuroadaptive regulation, which is scanner cosmetic for restoring the total health. Laser therapy for pain management and tissue regeneration. So these are the areas in which it has been useful to apply vital energy technologies in a calibrated way. I'll tell you a little bit about some of the vital energy applications which I have successfully applied for environmental issues and coaching. So this was one experiment we did with tomato preservation. So you can see here, this was an experiment we did with radionics and pyramids, and we were able to keep a tomato fresh in hot summer conditions of India from 24th of April 2016 to 13th of September 2016. So period of about 5 to 6 months. So this is, we did this experiment for the preservation. Similarly, we did some experiment with the pyramid farming where we used the pyramids to help with the agricultural growth. So without, it's like purely an organic kind of a farming with no pesticides, no fertilizers, and we use the radionics and pyramids to trigger very healthy crop. This was another interesting experiment we did with water regeneration at this ashram where I set up this meditation lab in Bangalore, India. And there was a lake which had been dry for more than 2 years because of scanty rains. And we started an experiment of recharging this lake using radionics and pyramid. So as you can see, on the 3rd of April 2017, the lake was completely dry. And when we did a 40 days protocol and we uh, started this experiment from 11th of May, the day we actually completed the experiment on 10th of May. And on the very next day, that overnight, there were such huge rains that on 11th of May, you can see that there was water in this lake. And by 28th of May, the lake was completely full and overflowing. So these are the things which are possible if we apply the vital energy technologies combined with our own creative intention. I have done some entrepreneurship coaching, like this guy who runs a dairy farm. So for his business, I did some entrepreneurship coaching for him. And basically, initially, like most people who start a new business, he had challenges related to the capital for the infrastructure, such as capital for buying livestock, risk management, marketing, and promotions. And I worked with him by counseling and coaching him using the vital energy technologies, engaging him with certain processes and healing. And within a year, his livestock increased, he avoided the debt burden, and he was able to create an ethical business model based on trust and innovation. He says establishing trust with the local farmers and with my cows has helped me make my business viable and created scope for sustainable scaling up. There was another startup which was run by a couple, Green Energy by Waste Recycling. They are Chitra and Madhukar, the couple, and they had issues related to raw material supply, cash flow, machinery breakdowns, client acceptance of product modification, order generation, turnover, typical problems of a startup business. And after working with me, where we primarily use the power of creative intention and vital energy technologies, they could experience significant improvement in just 2 sessions we did, and rest of the time I gave them telephonic support and distance remote support, and they achieved significant improvement in all these conditions. And they say that we realize the power of our building trust with our stakeholders as a force multiplier in our efforts for a positive turnaround of our business. There was this girl who was playing professional sports. She was an international player of badminton, and she was facing issues related to erratic match performance, low esteem and morale, poor communication with partners, feeling of being unlucky. And with a few sessions, within a fortnight, her performance changed so dramatically that she won several international titles in ranking tournaments. And when I asked her that what actually changed, so she said that taking ownership and trusting my partner helped me turn around my performance magically. So we can use these technologies in so many interesting and creative ways to create outcomes in different areas of life. So this is what I wanted to emphasize, that it is possible to use the vital energy technologies in an intelligent way, and it can be used as a force multiplier in the practice of a quantum integrative medicine practitioner or coach. Just to revise, the quantum integrative medicine strives for solutions by promoting self-healing and inner transformation. The focus here is on balancing the vital energy parameters. New findings of quantum science provide a sound theoretical basis for making this possible. The evolving field of vital energy technologies provides specialized tools to help the practitioner in this by way of organizing and amplifying the power of intention and intuition. So this is what I wanted to share with you, and I hope you find it useful and it can give new ideas to certain practitioners of vital energy medicine or the quantum integrative medicine, and use these tools effectively as a force multiplier in your practice. Thank you very much.